Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to International Prop Chat, episode 47. Today, we are very honored to have Mr. Benjamin Chin to share with us, with our team, live, work, and invest in Perth 3-in-1. So in this episode, we will be sharing about, obviously from the team, we know that we'll be sharing about Perth, live in Perth, how about the work in Perth, and also investing in Perth. So do join us every Friday, 9:30 on IQI International Sales page, and brought to you by IQI International Sales team. And my name is Sue Wong, and we'd like to welcome you and good evening. Hi, Benjamin.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone in the online as well. Everyone, all the team members in Facebook. A very good evening from Perth. And do I start my introduction now?
Well, we're very honored to have you here today. Thank you for your time. And I know you had a long day.
Mine,
yeah, you had a long working day today, so we are worried that you might fall asleep later, right?
No. I try not to. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you would you like to give us a brief introduction of yourself, Benjamin?
Yep, definitely. Yeah. So my name is Benjamin Chin, and I'm from Malaysia actually. And a very good evening from Perth, Australia, and I'm a property strategist in IQI Western Australia. And appreciate the effort from Sue and the teams as well. And it's actually my honor to be here to share a little bit of my experience and my life in Perth, Australia. Yeah, so a little bit of story about myself. I'm 33 years old this year. I'm married with 2 girls, and used to be an engineer back in Malaysia, and I migrated here in year 2019. So I've joined IQI Western Australia since then. And yeah, this is my sort of like new life, new career when I started in Perth.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a very short introduction about myself.
Wow. So you've been there since 2019. Okay. What makes you decide on the migration to Perth?
So basically, a lot of people always say the moon in overseas is always bigger.
Yeah.
So I just actually we just want to try to give a better environment for the kids. So to be honest, changing the environment for the kids is always the motivation that makes us change our environment. That's why we migrated to Perth. And to be honest, it's actually, I mean, we give a lot of thoughts in this, as we actually have to give up everything in Malaysia. We have to give up the very comfortable life in Malaysia and then move to Perth. Yeah.
Okay. Prior to this, have you stayed in, like, did you attend any university in Perth, or have you stayed there for a period of time, or?
Actually, no. It's basically my wife just thought of like changing the environment. I have never studied in overseas before.
Okay.
I studied in Miri, Kertin, Malaysia. So it's like after working for 6 years in engineering, then my wife suddenly is like, why don't we try applying PR for overseas? And then we got it, and then we have some planning on it, and then we migrated. So I have never stayed here for a very long time. Probably the longest before I migrated here is maybe 2 weeks holiday. That's all I got in Perth. Yeah.
You are very bold and gutsy, yeah?
Yeah.
So obviously when that time you said you were sharing that you were already working as an engineer, and both you and your wife had already been a professional for a long time. So how difficult was the decision to like kind of resign and then, you know, give up everything?
It's something that, like I say, I mean, the motivation is the one that make us make all these decisions. And to be honest, it's not only you, actually, a lot of people actually ask, why do we choose this path? Like, why do we want to give up everything, give up the life there, give up the mate? in Malaysia and then choose a life without maid, this kind of thing. Yeah, but like I say, this is something to us. We always hope for a betterment, and the only betterment that we can get is by change. So I think changing of environment is something that we have to make the decision on. That's why we didn't actually think too much. We just just give up everything, just resign and then fly. That's all. Yeah.
Well, it sounded very simple from your end right now, but I'm sure at that time it's a lot of deliberating, a lot of consideration. And were there any obstacles from your family, like any family were advising you against it or anything?
Well, our family don't really against on any decisions that we made actually, but of course they have concern. I mean, parents is always a parents.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter I'm 60 years old, 70 years old, and they are maybe 90 years old, they are still my parents or my wife's parents. So of course they have concern like whether we have enough to eat, even in Perth. But look at my size, right? I don't think that's a concern anymore. So yeah, I don't think
I didn't say anything.
Yeah. I know myself very well since I look at myself now. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I was saying the only thing that might stop us is basically whether we are willing to put ourselves down when we are in a new environment. Like we always, I mean, a lot of us, we have a pride that sometimes we can't let go. So we have to figure that out first before we actually make the move. We have to understand that when we are in other people's country, we have to somehow put ourselves down and just adapt to any changes that we need to just to survive in the beginning. Yeah, so maybe we have prepared our family mentally for about 2 years time before we actually migrated here. Yeah, so maybe that's actually helped us in, I mean, it sounds simple. Of course, there's a lot of work at the behind. I mean, mentally or physically. Yeah, but I think we overcome that obstacles already.
Okay. Well, my next question will be, because Australia, right, since you haven't been and no any affiliation to Perth, of all the other cities, right, I mean like Sydney, Melbourne, also exciting, right? Why do you choose Perth?
Well, it's very simple, honestly. My wife's sister is here, and some of my friend is here, and the time zone in Perth is same as Malaysia. So we sort of like want to migrate, and we don't really want to migrate to somewhere that's really far. And I really like Malaysia, to be honest. It's just that, yeah. So I prefer somewhere that is close to home, but is not too far from home, this kind of thing. Yeah. At the same time, it's different home.
Okay. Home away from home is just five hours flight away.
Yeah, 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, I actually love the distance actually. And I love that we used to have a direct flight from KK. So, oh, sorry, I'm from KK, Sabah. So I enjoy the flight actually. Yeah, so it's so short that we basically, even when the first year I came here, I actually flew back a few times back to Malaysia within that years. So I actually enjoy the distance. I think it's a very comfortable distance.
The direct flight was still in place just before COVID, right? Because it was stopped now because of COVID, right? Yep. Okay.
That's
so
right.
I believe it will resume if this pandemic is over. When this pandemic is over, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that you made a decision to migrate to Perth, when you first arrived in Perth, how was life? And then do you find yourself like lost, or do you find it very hard to adjust? And how about your family? How do they adjust to life in Perth?
When we first moved to Perth, to be honest, the first month was holiday. So it's like shopping, eating, sightseeing for the first month, and shopping like our furnitures and everything. So the first month was very happy, to be honest. It's so happy that we are like holidays. But of course, the stress start coming in when the end of the month. We thought we brought enough money to survive a whole year, but it's actually not. So that's the
Reality
stress
hits.
part. Yeah, so the reality start hit in at the end of the month. We are like, oh, I think something wrong with our savings. Someone stole our money, probably, I think. Yeah, so yeah, that's the point of time that we are very nervous, to be honest, and we start panicking, and then yeah, we try to we try all sort of way to sort of like get out of it. Yeah, so I've been doing few part-time job that time, doing Uber Eats, doing parcel delivery, doing parcel sorting, all sort of things that you can imagine probably. Yeah, I'll try that as well. So yeah, I think that's the beginning when I'm in Perth.
Okay. Well, you've gone through quite a few humble experience, huh? From an engineer, you have to, do the parcel delivering, and I admire your tenacity and your perseverance. Yeah, really.
Yeah. So basically, before I migrated here, I already told my wife that I'm mentally prepared to even clean the toilet or wipe do any cleaner works at shopping mall, whatever. Yeah, but I mean, this is something that we already mentally prepared ourselves. Yeah, it's just that, yeah, well, I mean, this transition period, I mean, God bless that. It's really God bless that my wife got an engineer works very fast, and I actually got the real estate job quite fast as well. So this is sort of like a very blessing time for us, even though we have been through all those. But at the end of the day, yeah, as long as we are willing to book it out, I'm sure there's a way for us to do it anyway.
Okay. Was your wife was she trained in Australia, or what what degree did she hold?
Oh, she's an engineer as well, same as me. We graduated at same university.
Oh,
It's just that she still work as so we are both chemical engineers.
Okay.
She still continue pursuing chemical engineer, but I'm no longer pursuing that career path. Yeah, that's the only difference.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I think you are really you really have the survival spirit in you. Really like can go through everything. Okay.
Yeah. I think from young we always learn these Chinese words. It's called 既来之则安之. So I think that anywhere we go, as long as you want to do it, you can just do it anyway. Yeah, regardless what's the condition and everything. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yes. At this time, I want to welcome the audience. Thank you for tuning in to our Facebook Live today, brought to you by IQI International Sales Team. My name is Sue Wong. I'm one of the team member. And today, we are very privileged to have Benjamin Chin with us. We are talking about Perth, about his life as when he migrated to Perth, and his work, and a bit of tips later from Benjamin, how he invests in property over there as well. IQI International Sales Team have this international property chat every Friday at 9:30 at night, Malaysian time, and so every week we welcome you to tune in as we produce and interview different people with different information given to you. And you can also please share this video to your friends, and then also can like our Instagram page, IQI International Sales, and our YouTube channel, IQI International Sales as well. Okay, so Benjamin. Okay, so you said you were trained as an engineer, and then after that, when you arrived in Perth, your wife continued to be a chemical engineer, but you chose to switch to another profession. Yep. So was it difficult to make that switch?
Well, since I can basically I don't care of any jobs. So the switching is actually not that difficult. It's just matter of whether you're willing to learn the new things or not. So I would say it's not that difficult. But there's one thing that I don't like. I don't really like study. So I don't like
But you are an engineer.
well, I mean, yeah, engineer actually is just a title. Doesn't mean that we like study. So I don't really like study. So the I think the biggest obstacle that I have when I change my career basically is studying.
Okay.
And especially on the regulations of real estate and everything. So that's probably the biggest obstacles I have when I choose a new career.
Okay. So obviously, when you arrive there, you will be like actively looking for a job, right? So what makes you choose the real estate as your career?
To be honest, real estate is never my first options.
Okay.
And like you say, I do have some misdirection in the beginning. And I'm actually quite blessed that I have some friends that in Perth. And of course, after consult with them, everything, they always ask me, find these 4 things to work with. So I know that, among these 4 things, in Chinese, we call it 衣食住行. So as long as you can find anything that related to these 4 things, you can survive anyhow.
Okay.
So I wanted to make food initially because of my size.
You love food.
Okay. Yeah, I really love food. So I actually I wanted to bring food from Malaysia to start in Perth, but of course there's too many. I actually interview a lot of friends, everything, and then they are good and bad, so I can't really go ahead with that. So the second thing is always the house. So it's a shelter that we call in the necessity. So this actually, when I explore the shelter part, I actually know that at that point of time, the real estate in Perth is actually at the lowest point for almost consecutive for 4 or 5 years. So to me, I need a house as well. I'm renting, so I need to find a house to buy. And I would like to start an investment as well to help in terms of the tax deduction for my wife. So since I need those things, why not I sell it as well? So that's in my mind that I should start a career in real estate instead of other industry. Yeah.
Okay. So once you decide on that, did you have to go through any extra qualification, or how was do you have to enroll yourself in a course? How do you qualify as a real estate agent in Australia?
Yeah, but I think it's quite similar to Malaysia. So basically what we need to do is we have to go and sit for a course. It's actually a certificate for course in real estate. So you can choose whether you want an unrestricted one or restricted in property manager or sales. So yeah, you can choose either one. So I'm choosing a one that is with course, with a class and face-to-face teaching for unrestricted sales rep course. So at that time, because no one want to explore real estate and the fee are very cheap. It's only probably $700 for a 1 week course.
Okay.
So unlike now it's around 1,900 compared to last time.
Wow.
Yeah. So now
price.
So the property is booming. So a lot of people actually want to go back to real estate. Yeah. So I think I already earned some money from participating in the course now. I mean previously rather than now. Yeah. So somehow I think it proved my point that when something that nobody wants, you can try it and try and explore it better. So I think what I choose that time is actually a good choice as well.
I see. So having worked as both an engineer and a real estate agent, real estate strategist, you all call it over there. So what is the difference, and then what do you find most difficult thing to adjust to as as compared to before?
I think the biggest difference is about the with people. When I'm an engineer, I actually manage people. I tell them what to do, and I know. I mean, we don't really need to do negotiations.
Yes.
We just tell them do this and that. But in real estate, especially in sales, we have to respond to two parties, and we are sort of like the middleman.
Yes.
So a very good negotiation skill is required, and we need to really know how to communicate with people. So that's very different when you are working as an engineer and when you are working as a real estate property strategist here.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest difference.
Yep, yep. As a salesperson, you really need to have good people skills, also good PR, and then try to negotiation skill is also really, really important.
So we have to train our EQ and always have to fake laugh most of the time. So make sure that we are likable by everyone. Yeah, so I think that's the difference between working as an engineer and as the real estate sales rep.
Okay, okay. So maybe I want to ask you about, like having worked as a few years as a real estate strategist in IQI. So do you notice any difference between IQI as an agency and other agencies in Australia?
Definitely. To be honest, the real reason that I joined IQIWA is actually the people in the company. Is about the management in the company, and I don't really join it because of the reputation. I mostly joined because of the people inside the company. So what actually shocked me, I knew the colleagues in IQIWA back in 2018.
Okay.
And I know them in the expo in Sabah.
Okay.
So most of the time when you go expo, people sell you stuff. They will sell you products straight away.
Yeah.
But when I go to this expo, they don't sell me stuff. That makes me curious. Like, what? You're not selling me stuff? What's the product that you should sell me now? No. They're like, no, don't. I'm not going to sell you anything. Go.
Did they tell you about the promotion?
No promotion, no hard sell, nothing. I'm like, okay, that's a bit special. So what they tell me is, when you come to Perth, explore a little bit. If you have any difficulties, find us.
Okay.
So this is something that you don't really find in any other agency, because we have been through few expo, and then when you go to the counter or you go to any booth, they will just, hey, my product is good, it's best, so buy it. But when I encounter so few of my bosses, Lily, and then my supervisor Lina and Lian, so they are like, you don't need to buy anything, just go and explore. If you have any problem, difficulties, come and find me. That's all. I'm like, wow, that's special. So it actually triggered a curiosity of me. And then when I go Perth, they really entertain me and then tell me where to buy cars, where to buy this kind of thing, where to rent. So they don't sell me. So this is something that is really different from other agency, which product come first. But in our company, people come first. We attend to the needs first. So this is something that I seldom see in other agency, to be honest. Yeah.
Wow, they really make you, they really help you with your settling in and all, before they even talk to you.
Yeah, I mean,
the products, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No wonder you're attracted to the culture of this company.
Yeah. So actually, I mean, the culture, I slowly understand more about the IQI culture as well. As I mean, I met with Daniel, all the big guy, Kashif, they are all bosses, and yet they never show they are very humble. And I remember one things that they always say that is quite similar to the IQIWA is, do the right thing, and the wealth will always follow. The wealth will come after you, instead of we go and chase the wealth. So this is something that I truly believe is good, even though it might be very hard in the beginning, but in the long term, yeah, it will be fruitful, rewarding, and everything. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We have to do the right thing ourselves and then continue to work hard. Then the wealth and the other things will follow suit, right? Good
Yeah,
advice.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So, okay. So tell us about the, since you are strategists right over there, tell us about the property markets in Australia right now, in Perth right now.
Oh, so now I get a chance to hard sell my product. Well, I'm not going to hard sell anyway. So just a brief introduction about the market in Perth now. Of course, I think a lot of people know that Australia is actually doing very well despite the pandemic.
Yep.
So economically, we are very strong, to be honest, regardless where's the state. But I mean, WA especially, we are very strong during this period of time. So our market, I mean, in the rental market is crazy. Our vacancy is 0.6% for rental market. So that's really strong. Yeah, and then our sales market is actually picking up very fast as well, especially in the land side. All the house and land packages, like our traders are really busy. Our builders are really busy as well. All the traders, all the bricklayer guy is in high demand. So I would say the property market in Perth is actually really strong now. So yeah, so this is something that we notice in the sales period right now. Some of the suburbs, basically when you do home open, when 2 years back, there's no people actually look for the house. But now if someone leases the property at some very nice suburb, basically it's like 20-30 groups of people will go and have a look and actually put offers. So this is a very active market nowadays.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised, right? Like I think I know that in somewhere maybe in 2019 the market was really like not very good, not doing well.
Yeah.
And then suddenly pandemic after pandemic, whoo.
Yeah. That's right. So of course there's a reason behind it. Like a lot of people actually, for example, when the Melbourne, Sydney, they have a higher rate of contagious in terms of COVID-19, people actually tends to move away from city and everything. So that's why we have increased our population slightly in Perth, and that's also a reason why the rental market is really strong. People can't really find rental anymore, and then that's why that trigger people. When the rental market is so strong, people start to think about buying their own house and then move it in instead of renting other people's house. So I think this is about the property cycle. Yeah. So when the rental is up, sooner or later the sales is going to up anyway. Yeah, it's just the matter of time.
Yeah, so you actually notice people are moving back from eastern states like Melbourne and
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not only they are moving from then, I mean, of course, there are people also move to other suburbs or other states, maybe Brisbane or Gold Coast. So yeah, we definitely see a lot of people coming in back, and then the job opportunity is also increasing. And because of the pandemic, iron ore price go up so much. So our job here, I mean, mining is one of the biggest job opportunity in Perth, in Western Australia. So when the iron ore price is really good, and the job opportunity goes up, and naturally the economy goes up as well, and then the property will go up anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's really a good news for the property market. Yeah. So
yeah, that's right.
So I know also you are an investor yourself. Okay. So I have this question actually from a few of the local investors. Because we have been promoting some apartments on to our investors here as well. So their question is like like they always compare, why should I buy in apartments, but I should look into landed property. So in your opinion, right, for investment, like landed property versus apartment, what is your opinion? Can you share with us?
To be honest, I don't think we should categorize whether the house and land is better or apartment is better, because to me, both have the advantage. Of course, there's a pros and cons for both type of investment. It's just whether they are, what kind of investor they are, whether they are long-term investor or they are short-term investor. So to be honest, in Australia, we can't look into short-term investment because there's no such thing as flipping here and there. We can't really flip our property here because of all the taxes that we have. So in that case, if they are only looking at cash generation or cash flow generation, I would say apartment is better. But if they are looking at capital growth, so for example, I would say school zone capital growth is better. So there are really no formula that actually decide which one is better. It all depends on what's your needs. Some people, let's say for myself, if I want to start a property investment, I impossible I can go buy those school zone that cost $1 million. I will just start somewhere else that give me a cash flow generation instead, because I start now and I start young. So in a matter, I mean, maybe in 20, 30 years time, this cash flow generation will eventually become a capital growth property as well. So it's really a long-term goal. So if you ask me which one is better, maybe I will first ask you, which one do you prefer? You want a cash flow generation or you want a capital growth? And you don't really care about the repayment and everything.
Yeah, I think very much also depending on their investment budget. Yeah, they are each person has a different budget. Of course, the entry point for the apartments will be slightly lower compared to the house and land. So you know, so depending on their budget, of course, if they have to very high budget, of course, we will recommend the most prestigious address, right? So
that's right. So I would say there's no guarantee in all sort of property investment. There are no guarantees says that definitely if you buy this you will get like double or triple the capital growth or whatever. But what our job is basically how can we minimize the risk in this industry, especially like during the bad time or during pandemic. How can we actually get the best out of the worst? So it's really about your situation. Like some of people, they are cash rich. They don't actually care about the cash flow generation. They just want to put somewhere that is better than fixed D. So why not? We have some products that actually fits the needs. That is actually safer than putting the money in bank because of the inflation and everything. Because we know that inflation one day, if it's the inflation rate is more than your interest rate, your money is gone in long term. So in that kind of case, we can suggest some kind of product that actually can sustain or retain your value of money. And then so this is what we do. We don't hard sell, to be honest. We always see what do you really want first. Then we will recommend most of product to you guys.
Yes. Our role is never to hard sell, but to give a proper recommendation for the client that wants to invest. So
that's right.
Okay, another very common question asked by the local investor is, do you think it is harder to sell an apartment in the secondary market?
I think this is quite similar to the first question. It's like if you buying a very good apartment with good returns and good strata management, I don't see a problem selling it away when you need to sell it, because when we buy an apartment, when we do a due diligence on the apartment, we look at the after sales market as well, like the sub sales market, because like we say, we are doing long-term relationship, we have a client and everything. So if we just want to sell you in the sake of selling, then we might sell you like some maybe project that we don't really look into very seriously. We just sell you because of the commission. Maybe we are worried about the after sales market. But when we do the sub sell, when we do the due diligence, we actually take into consideration 10 years, 20 years.
Mm.
After 20 years, what kind of suburb it will become, whether it will become a future CBD or not. So this is something that we already take into consideration. So whether it will be hard to sell in a sub-sales for apartment, I don't really think so.
Don't think so.
As long as the product is right. And I think it's similar to a landed house, regardless.
So all the other factors like usual comes in, whether it's a good location, whether you have a good management, property management and that kind of thing.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So of course, at the same time, we always will teach our investor, like if they were to invest, what kind of procedure that they should do in order to minimize the risk. For example, buying a landlord insurance, this kind of things. A minimum amount of money that help them minimize the risk, or probably ask them to hire a property manager instead of manage by yourself. So because in Australia is a country that's full of regulations, laws, and enforcement. So if you let someone that is professional to handle your property, it will be much more better than to handle by yourself. Because there's so many things that you have to consider. But I mean, if I don't know anything, if I go and manage it, it will be a mess. But if I let someone to handle it for me, of course it comes with some cost. But this is a cost that we already take into consideration, whether it will give us a positive gearing or a positive cash flow or whatsoever. Yeah. So this is what we do most of the time.
Okay. Yeah, Ben, I also know that you told me, and you told me before, you are a proud owner of one of unit very near to a few of the current project, right? Velocity.
Yeah.
Right. So can you share with us your experience in investing in this apartment, and then how do you gain from your investment?
Okay, so it might take another night to explain that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so basically,
don't get your tax consultant here.
Yeah, so to be honest, initially before I actually sell my product, I'm actually a very skeptical guy. I don't believe by the mouth of the salesperson or my colleagues. So at first they always tell me how good is the product. I'm like, oh, how are you so sure this? So that's why initially before I sell, I actually become an investor first. I actually buy my own unit and then try to rent it out, everything. So, and at the same time, to be honest, I have a very good friend in Perth, and I'm so grateful that I have friends that actually supported me that time. So we sort of like bought the unit together. So when your friend trusts you so much, it actually give you some pressure. And I couldn't actually sleep because they bought property from me. So I'm like, whether is this helping or burden to them? So this is something that I really scared of. So when we sell the property and I buy my own property, the first thing I do is when they do home open, I'm the spy inside I actually go there and act as a tenant to rent a house. So to my surprise, a lot of people queue for renting the house.
Really?
So I'm like, wow, people are queuing to rent a property in that area. So I'm like, well, I feel really relieved when this is the first time that I queue with happiness. I don't queue with grumpy face or whatever. I queue with really happy. I'm really happy that a lot of people queuing and everything. It's actually somehow it boosts my confidence when I sell my product, and as well as it's actually give me I feel very responsible towards my friends as well. Yeah. So that's why I'm very proud to actually manage to buy one investment property at that area, because some experience about the vacancy rate. 2 years, I already owned that property for 2 years. It's only vacant for 7 days. And the reason of vacancy is actually because the agent want to clean the property and do some maintenance. That's all. So that's 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah. Other time, basically, I actually, before the 7 days, I actually found my tenant 1 month before my leasing end, the new tenant. So that's how fast it is
Okay.
in the rental market in Perth.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really quite blessed with all the opportunity that I have that time as well.
Okay, so the 7 days were within was in between the two tenancies.
Yeah,
Last tenancy stop end, and then the new tenancy starts. So the 7 days was between the two tenancies for the cleaning.
that's right. That's right. So basically, it's like 1st of May people move out, and then 7th of May people move in already.
Oh, okay, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So that means we can also foresee similar results for our two project that's based there, the Velocity and
That's right. That's right. As our property manager, he is a very experienced property manager, and he managed a lot of rent roll here as well. He barely have anything for us to rent as well. You can see the whiteboard is basically empty most of the time now.
Okay.
Because any listing that he put up, gone, just like that. So yeah, this is something that we see most of the time in the rental market. Yeah.
Okay. I also understand that your unit is one of the unit that qualify for NRES, right? So can you share a little bit with us about the NRES? Like, is there anything specially like different that you do for the NRES unit?
Okay, so NRES is actually a scheme. NRES is called National Rental Affordability Scheme. It's a scheme that we apply on a normal property. It's a certificate that we apply from government. So when we become an investor, the condition of the government to give us that scheme is that we have to provide affordable dwellings to the public. So we have to reduce our rental by 20%, and in return, the government are giving us an incentive or money. In summary, is around $11,000 a year. So which is quite fair. It's like, to me, it's like doing a charity. At the same time, I'm getting some back from the government. So it's like a win-win situation for the government as well as for the investor, and also for the tenant. So this is something that I really like it as well. So yeah, NRES is something that I don't think I can find anything that is better than NRES in terms of the risk management and everything. Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, this scheme is going to end soon, right?
Yeah, the only negative that I can think of about NRES is going to end in 2026 June. So I think that's the worst thing already. Other than that, if you were to ask me what's the bad thing about NRES, to be honest, I can't really find anything, because when the property manager actually look for tenant, they are more strict compared to a normal tenancy. So this is something that they are so strict that I think is even more secure compared to finding the normal tenant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have some comments from the some friends and investors that the profile of NRES tenants are like those maybe unemployed or like
Okay.
the profile of these people are not as great as the normal. Yeah. So can you elaborate on that? Can you share with us?
Yeah, so NRES, a lot of people think that when we provide an affordable dwelling, people will think it as a government housing. Please don't get me wrong, this is not the government housing, because government already provide government housing for that category of people. So what we basically do is we buy a normal property, we get the incentive from the government, and we put on the property that we buy normally. It's actually a normal property, but we only do an extra step, and we put something on it. So I think this is a misconception from a lot of people thinking this is a government housing, but it's actually not. It's just a normal property, because after 2026, like we say, we are looking for a long-term investment. So after 2026, if there's no NRES anymore, the property are going to be rented at a normal rate instead of 20% discounted. Yeah, so we have to rent it normal. So imagine if we simply find a place and put an NRES on it. After the NRES is gone, how are we going to rent it out if that location or the apartment itself is not good, right?
Yes.
We don't want that kind of thing happen, right? So that's why we always find something that is, it can be operate normal time and it can be operate as well during the NRES time. So this is something that we follow very strict, you know, due diligence check, everything, especially Lily, they always do a thoroughly check on those kind of apartments. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe can you tell us who is your tenant for your NRES property? What's the profile?
So basically my tenant is international student.
Oh, okay.
So in order to rent and rent property, the requirement is that you have to have income.
Oh,
so
okay.
the property manager will actually check whether you have the true income or not.
Okay.
So so income from parents or the pocket money from parents is also considered as an income. So so to my shocking, actually next year I can't rent my property to this tenant anymore because apparently the pocket money from the parents too much and it exceed a bracket for living in that particular unit. So when we say about the income, it's actually very high.
Okay.
We are talking about 150,000 ringgit Malaysia a year.
Okay.
You cannot exceed that to live in our the unit that with the NRES.
Okay.
And that kind of salary is actually an average salary for everyone, especially the retail or the young profession or all the graduates, teenager when they go work part-time or they will never exceed that kind of
different profile.
Yeah, that's right. So when I actually received a notice from my property manager last 2 months, they say your tenant are not eligible for it anymore. I'm like,
So
student
sad.
not eligible anymore. So I'm like, what's the reason of not of ineligibility? They say, oh, the pocket money too much. So the income have been too much for them. So I'm like, wow, they even check that. So how strict is NRES property manager? It's very strict.
Yes.
They check everything. They are more nervous than us.
Yes.
I to be honest, I only pay for my down payment that time. Other than that, I never look at my property anymore.
Okay.
The property manager and my bank is sufficient always with the repayment and the monthly income. Yeah, so this is something that is really good.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a really this NRES deal is quite a good deal. It's very
it is. I don't want to hard sell too much on NRES, but it's really that good. If I don't really like to hard sell, but this is something that we gain quite a lot, and we actually generate a lot of cash flow from this apartment as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that brings to the end of our program today. Really want to thank you, Benjamin, for sharing your life and your work and your investment and and all the your happy news about investing in the NRES unit, and you really thank you for your time today.
Thank you also, Sue.
So for the audience, we want to thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us today, and please continue to support us every Friday at 9:30. IQI International Sales team will bring to you International Property Chat at 9:30 every Friday. And my name is Sue Wong. I want to wish you a good evening, and Ben?
Yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Okay. So I know it's MCO in Malaysia. Maybe I know it's tough, but I think we experienced lockdown as well. I know how tough it is, especially if you are parents with kids and the kids is maybe 4 or 5 years old. It might give you a very big headache or whatever, but I think, believe it, if you can withstand another few weeks, I'm sure it will be a better a world is better without a mask, actually.
We hang in there, okay?
Yeah, hang in there.
We encourage one another. Okay.
Okay.
Good night then.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Bye.
right. Yeah, thank you very much and good night.